boys and girls. Hope everyone's having a great week. Today I want to read to you Somebody and the Three Blairs. Now what we call this story is a fractured fairy tale. And what that means is that the author has taken a classic fairy tale, in this case it's Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and changed the characters and the plot, which is, as you know, the plot is what takes place in the story. They change it to make a funny story. So let's get started and read Somebody and the Three Blairs. Now there's no Goldilocks in the story, and the bear family has been changed to a family of people. So here we go. One Sunday morning in a small house on the edge of town, Mr. Blair, Mrs. Blair, and Baby Blair were sitting down to breakfast. "It's such a fine morning," said Mr. Blair. "Let's take a walk in the park." "What a good idea," said Mrs. Blair. "Feed a ducks," said Baby Blair. So they took their coats and a bag of bread crumbs and set out for the park. While they were gone, somebody came in to the door. Somebody knocked. And when nobody answered, somebody tiptoed in. He sniffed and sniffed. He looked at the breakfast table. "This food is too dry," said somebody. "This food is too noisy," said somebody. "But this food is just right." Then he looked for somewhere to sit down. "This seat is too hard," said somebody. "This seat is too wobbly," said somebody. "But this seat is just right." And then he looked for something to play with. "This game is too noisy. This game is too cold. But this game is just right." Ooh, he's making a naughty mess. He looked for something to drink. "This rain is too hot," said somebody. "This pond is too small," said somebody. "But this stream is just right." And then he looked for somewhere to sleep. "This bed is too big," said somebody. "This bed is too small," said somebody. "But this bed is just right." When Mr. and Mrs. Blair and Baby Blair came back from the park, they saw the breakfast table. "Somebody's been eating my crunchies," said Mr. Blair. "Somebody's been eating my Crispies," said Mrs. Blair. "All gone," said Baby Blair. They looked around the room. "Somebody's been sitting on my chair," said Mrs. Blair. Mr. Blair. "Somebody's been sitting on my chair," said Mrs. Blair. "Busted," said Baby Blair. They went into the kitchen. "Somebody's been emptying the cupboard," said Mr. Blair. "Somebody's been raiding the fridge," said Mrs. Blair. "Naughty," said Baby Blair. Then they went upstairs. "Flood!" shouted Mr. Blair. "Help!" said Mrs. Blair. Lot of water, shouted baby Blair. They looked in the bedrooms. It's a burglar, said Mr. Blair. It's a monster, said Mrs. Blair. He's a big teddy bear, said baby Blair. It's escaped from the zoo, said Mr. Blair. It's escaped from the circus, said Mrs. Blair. It's escaped down a drain pipe, said baby Blair. Phone the police, said Mr. Blair. Call the fire department, said Mrs. Blair. Let me read that again. Somebody phone the police, said Mr. Blair. Somebody call the fire department, said Mrs. Blair. Somebody gone home, said baby Blair. Bye-bye. Come again and play tomorrow. I think baby Blair kind of liked the naughtiness of somebody. So the way that story was changed is that there was no Goldilocks and there was no bear family. There was a people family and there was somebody. And the story was changed a little bit. So that's what you call a fractured fairy tale. And I sure hope you enjoyed that. So have a great rest of your week and hope to see you on the Zoom meetings on Thursday and Friday. Bye-bye.